Dear Cancer, there is a sacred shoreline within you, a place where the deepest tides of your emotional world meet the sands of your lived experience. For so long, you have been the keeper of this shore, tending to it with a quiet, unwavering devotion. You've built seawalls from your own resilience, fortresses of care to protect not only yourself but everyone you hold dear. This sensitivity, this profound capacity to feel, is your greatest gift. It is a form of magic, a silent language that understands the unspoken hurts and unvoiced needs of the world. But what happens, dear Cancer, when the sanctuary begins to feel like a cage? What happens when the walls you built to keep the storms out also prevent the light from getting in? There is a truth you have been carrying, a weight that feels as ancient as the moon you are ruled by. It is not a sudden crisis, but a slow, creeping realization that the very armor you crafted for survival has become impossibly heavy. It is the silent ache of being the eternal caregiver, the quiet loneliness of being the rock for everyone else, while your own foundations feel like they are slowly turning to sand. You have mastered the art of appearing strong, of containing the vast ocean of your feelings behind a calm and steady exterior. You've convinced yourself that this containment is strength, that to feel less is to be safer, that to need nothing is to be invincible. But that story is beginning to unravel, and through the cracks, a new light is threatening to pour in, a truth that feels both terrifying and liberating. Because, dear Cancer, you were never meant to be a monument of unyielding strength, a prisoner of others' needs, shackled by the ghosts of past heartbreaks. The time has come to understand that your greatest power lies not in how much you can hold, but in how gracefully you can let go. So, before we journey deeper into the currents of this transformation, take a sacred moment for yourself. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your own truth in the comments below. Let this be your first declaration of release. I choose to honor my own tides in order to embrace my true emotional liberation. Stay with me until the very end, for the final revelations are where the fractured pieces of your heart will finally find their way back to wholeness. If you leave now, you risk missing the very insight that could unlock everything you've been searching for. Let's rewind, because this feeling, this subterranean restlessness, is not new. It has roots that travel deep into the soil of your past. Do you remember when you first learned that your sensitivity was something to be managed, to be hidden? When did you begin to believe that your emotional depth was a burden, either to yourself or to others? From an early age, Cancer, you were taught that safety was paramount. Your worth was often measured by your ability to create harmony, to soothe the anxieties of those around you, not by your courage to express the full, messy, beautiful spectrum of your own feelings. Your gift of empathy became a silent responsibility, a role you took on without ever being asked. That is where it all began, the inner voice that compels you to put others first, even when your own well is dry. The voice that urges you to swallow your own needs to preserve a fragile peace. The voice that insists that your own vulnerability is a threat to the stability you work so tirelessly to maintain. But what if I told you that everything you're afraid to feel, every truth you've pushed below the surface, is actually your greatest opportunity for healing? This discomfort that is surfacing is not a danger. It is an invitation from your soul to truly, authentically live. A crack in a dam, once opened, cannot be ignored. It releases all the pressure, all the unshed tears, all the unspoken words you have bottled up inside. Do you ever feel profoundly stuck, Cancer? As if no one truly understands the immense effort it takes to be you. As if everyone sees your calm surface and assumes you are content, while just beneath it, a storm of longing, fear, and unspoken desires is churning. People see your loyalty, your nurturing spirit, your unshakable reliability, but they fail to see the sleepless nights where you wonder if this is all there is. They do not notice the quiet exhaustion that lurks behind your gentle smile. They cannot comprehend how painful it is to be a sanctuary for others while feeling like you have no safe harbor for yourself. A profound truth is stirring within you now, and while it is cloaked in the discomfort of change, it is destined to shine like a beacon of liberation. For the first time, you are beginning to realize that you do not have to cling to what is no longer nurturing you. Your worth is not defined by how much you can give, but by your very existence. You do not need to be the unchangeable, constant moon in everyone else's sky. Allowing yourself to wax and wane, to have moments of darkness and renewal, is an essential part of your journey. Perhaps there is a person, a memory, or a situation from the past that has resurfaced recently, something that pulls at those old emotional threads, tempting you to retreat back into your shell. This is not a coincidence. It is your soul reaching out, urging you to finally confront your fear of abandonment and loss. That is the only way to find true, unshakable security, not in the world outside, but deep within the chambers of your own heart. Not by ignoring the past, not by sidestepping the pain, but by looking it directly in the eye and saying, "Yes, you hurt me, but you no longer define me." This is where your genuine transformation begins. When you stop resisting what feels uncomfortable, a portal opens, a profound shift that no longer relies on external validation or the stability of others. It seeks only your own wholeness. Pure, raw, beautiful wholeness. Perhaps you did not realize it, Cancer, but there is a part of you that has been yearning to be seen, to be heard, to be held. A voice that is not about duty or responsibility, but one that whispers in your moments of solitude when you silence the noise of the world, when you tire of the same old patterns that leave you feeling empty. What would happen if, for once, you allowed that voice to guide you? If, instead of soothing everyone else's fears, you tended to your own? You have the capacity to do this, not because you are invincible, but because your authenticity is your true strength. It is found in showing up fully, with all your beautiful cracks and imperfections, even when you do not feel ready. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not when things feel more certain. No, because life does not wait, and neither does your soul. Something is shifting at the very core of your being. Something is urging you to release that persona you crafted to survive. Because now, dear Cancer, it is about truly living, not merely existing. And living means feeling. It means embracing uncertainty. It means speaking the desires you have held back in the silent chambers of your heart. There is an emotional memory that resurfaces every time you are faced with the possibility of being left behind. A moment of instability in your past that taught you to cling, though you have carried on as if you have healed. That experience shaped how you relate to love, how you protect your heart, and how you learn to trust. But now you know that what you do not heal, you will inevitably repeat, and you are no longer willing to replay these cycles of silent suffering. This is your opportunity to transform all of that, not from a place of anger or resentment, but from a place of profound love. Love for yourself, from a gentleness you have always deserved, from a forgiveness that does not erase the past, but liberates you from its chains. There is a specific fear that is ready to be released. You will recognize it because every time you touch upon it, a knot forms in your stomach, a wave of resistance, of dread, of that old familiar loneliness. That is precisely what is ready to heal. You are not alone in this, even if you have so often felt that way. This process is not about proving your endurance. It is about recognizing that you no longer have to carry the weight of a life that does not truly fit the contours of your soul. Have you ever questioned why it is so much easier for you to give care than to receive it? Why you set such a high standard of loyalty for yourself while extending so little permission for your own needs to be met? It is time to break that pattern. To start seeing yourself through the same compassionate eyes you offer to everyone else with understanding, patience, and unconditional kindness. A symbolic transformation is underway. What is emerging within you now is a more authentic version of yourself, one that is lighter, truer, and more vibrantly alive. You are bidding farewell to an old self, one that learned to protect with silence and hyper-independence. But that version, which once served you, is now holding you back. You are no longer the child who had to be quiet to avoid chaos. Today, you are an adult with power, with a voice, and with the sacred right to choose differently. And choosing differently starts with allowing yourself to feel, without censorship, without judgment, and without guilt. Every dream you deferred, every yes to stagnation you swallowed, every no to adventure you held back is now surfacing, ready to be released. You cannot build a new emotional home on a foundation of unprocessed fear, and you, dear Cancer, are ready for a fresh start. Perhaps right now, it feels as though something is breaking, be it a relationship, a habit, or a belief you once clung to for safety. Do not resist it. Let it break if it no longer supports your truth. Allow yourself to feel the fear, but also allow it to heal. Because fear, when met with awareness, transforms into wisdom, self-love, and profound freedom. As we look at the energies unfolding, we see this story reflected in the cards. The Nine of Pentacles speaks not just of financial abundance, but of a deep, resonant self-sufficiency. This is the energy of finding your own garden, a sanctuary within that does not depend on anyone else for its bloom. After a long period of emotional struggle, you are stepping into a sense of independence and calm that is entirely your own. It is a powerful reminder that your worth is not tied to anyone who was unable to see your light. This is the closing of a painful karmic cycle and the beginning of a new spiritual path, one where your value is inherent and unshakable. Then, the Ace of Swords arrives not as a weapon, but as a sacred key. This represents the moment of piercing clarity you have been waiting for. It is the power to cut through the fog of emotional obligation and codependency. You are ready to sever ties that drain your spirit, not with anger or drama, but with a quiet, serene determination. This decision is a form of spiritual emancipation, restoring your dignity and reclaiming the energy you have so freely given away. It is time to act with the logic of your soul, not with the wishful thinking of a heart afraid to be alone. And at the center of it all stands justice. This card confirms that the universe is tipping the scales in your favor. If you have been wronged, if someone underestimated your heart or took your love for granted, their chapter in your story is coming to a close. Divine timing is at play, and what comes next is not a punishment for them, but a profound reward for your perseverance and your unwavering authenticity. Let your integrity be your guide, and trust that cosmic balance is being restored. In your material world, this translates into a powerful shift. On the financial front, this is not merely about money. It is about rewriting a deeply ingrained story about your own value. The energy of the World card adds an expansive layer, suggesting that limitations are dissolving, Opportunities that seemed out of reach may now present themselves. However, justice warns you to move with discernment. Evaluate every offer with clarity and integrity. All that glitters is not gold, and your now heightened intuition will be your most valuable asset. True prosperity comes from an internal shift in how you value yourself. By aligning with your core values, you will attract not only wealth, but a profound sense of peace. In your work, this energy may manifest as a moment where your unique ability to mediate and create harmony is called upon. You may find yourself being the calm center in a storm, asked to bring your wisdom to a conflict. Do not be afraid to speak your truth. Your superiors and colleagues trust your judgment because it is rooted in genuine care and honesty. This is not a time for half measures. Your integrity is what makes you a candidate for recognition and advancement. While others may engage in rivalries, your power lies in your quiet excellence. Show them, through your actions, that you are the embodiment of grace under pressure. The universe is working in your favor, and in the realm of your heart, the transformation is most potent. If you are in a partnership, this is a time to bring a new level of honesty and vulnerability to your connection. Let the flame of passion be rekindled not by grand gestures, but by the quiet intimacy of speaking your truth and truly hearing your partners. If old ghosts from the past reappear, it is only to give you the opportunity to banish them for good. You are clearing the space for a love that is stable, nurturing, and built on the solid ground of mutual respect. If you are single, this period is a sacred preparation. The universe is asking you to fall so deeply in love with yourself that the arrival of another person becomes a beautiful addition, not a desperate necessity. Someone new and special is on the horizon, but they can only enter when you have fully cleared the emotional debris of the past. This person will not be drawn to your armor. They will be drawn to the authentic, vulnerable, and radiant light of your true self. Within your family, these energies call for healing conversations. The World card symbolizes the closing of old generational cycles. Grievances may resurface not to cause pain, but to finally be aired and released. As the natural caregiver, your role is pivotal, but you must remember to set boundaries. Differentiate between supporting your loved ones and carrying their burdens for them. Your greatest gift to them now is to model what it looks like to be emotionally whole and self-honoring. The energies around you are aligning to support this profound rebirth. You may feel a strong pull towards new creative outlets and connections that feel expansive and joyful. Your compatibility with signs like Libra, Virgo, and Gemini is heightened now, as they can offer you the balance, coherence, and communication needed to integrate these changes. Libra can mirror your desire for harmony. Virgo can help you ground your new intentions in practical steps, and Gemini can spark the joyful communication that allows you to express your newfound self. Dear Cancer, this is the most significant moment of all. We are no longer just talking about the wounds. We are talking about what remains when they have healed. The truth that rises when there is nothing left to cling to is this: you are enough, not because of what you do for others, not because of your stability, not because of how much you can endure. You are enough simply because you exist, because you feel, because you are alive. And that is the ultimate freedom. Something profound has shifted within you. It is an inner revolution. For the first time in a long, long time, you are choosing yourself. And this is not an act of selfishness. It is the most sacred act of healing. When you choose yourself, the entire universe rearranges itself to meet you. You will learn to say no without guilt and yes without fear. You will stop pleading for space in places that no longer welcome your growth. You will look in the mirror and finally see yourself through clear, compassionate eyes, recognizing the warrior who dared to feel when it would have been so much simpler to shut down. And now, you are the one who chooses. You are the one who sits in the sacred silence of your own heart and asks, "What do I truly desire now?" Because what matters most is not what you will achieve after this transformation. It is who you have already become. You have become real. And from that place of authenticity, dear Cancer, everything finally begins to blossom.